Hi guys, so I recently did a short showing you that I used the Red Heart Granny Square or all-in-one Granny Square yarn to create what essentially is a same color like Granny Square block, but all I did was just adapt it for this yarn, and it worked out honestly pretty perfectly. Like, I didn't really have to make very many changes from like a traditional full colored block. To do this. So that's what I'm gonna do today. So if any of the little tools I use will be linked in the description box. Those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. I know it looks a little bit crazy here. I have some ideas for like this little area where the last round when you come into slip stitch, it'll look like that. It did it there and it did it there. It didn't do it here because that's just how the yarn ended up. But we'll talk about that in a minute as we go through, so I can kind of clean that up a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it starts off with the 12 here, just like the Red Heart Granny Square that they're recommending here. After that, you're doubling basically because we're putting them in here. It's a little different, I want to say, in this area because there's going to be more than just the 24. I think it ends up being quite a few more, here and there. And then from there, that doubles and, it keeps going around. And actually more than doubles, because you're going to essentially put a double crochet on top of each double crochet, and then you do your corner. So it's a little bit different design, but very simple, super easy. I don't think this video is going to take too long, other than I'm probably going to do the whole block with you guys here. So we can just get started. I am still using a size I hook. It's the one that they recommended for this, for when you're making your granny squares. I've heard of people leaving me comments saying in my original review video that the way they made it work is that they changed out the size of the hook after they got to a certain round or whatever, because sometimes you had to do some fidgety stuff to make those work. For this one, if this doesn't work for you, or you want, whatever, change the size of the hook, that's fine. I would say you probably want to go down. I guess it also depends on how you crochet, because on this one, the last 3 rows, I really had to make the double crochet a little tighter for it to get to the end of the round and not have to start like incorporating the white here or whatever. So it had to be a little bit of a tighter stitch. So maybe you want to start off with an I for the first 2 rounds and then go to an H for the last 3 or something. I don't know. But doing that, it might also make it so that you end up still having a ton of blue, the dark blue when you get to this area, or the less color when you get to this area. So for me, the I hook worked, and I hook worked, and I just went for it. It says a 5.5 millimeter. This thing says 9/0. I don't know if that's even accurate, but no, it's 5.5 millimeter I hook. We're just gonna get started, and these are the notes I made because it doesn't take too much. It's really pretty much just a traditional full color block. I suppose you can find different people the way they do them. I don't know. I just basically adapted a basic pattern for this. If I can find you a pattern that's written out, because I don't write things down, that's similar, I will do that, because it's going to be very easy to do. It's basically your classic, full color block granny. It looks like it ends, I'll link that in the description box, is what I'm trying to say, so I'll look online, but you guys can find things like that for yourselves. 2, 4, 6, it's a 6-inch square. This is the first time I think I've done this where it's like 6 inches like this says it's going to be. But anyway, let's just get started. So again, you start with your color round. You don't have a lot of the first color. I did leave the tail that's about this much, and that worked out for me, so let's just do that. And I did do a chain, so I'm just leaving like that much, and again, these aren't really beginner tutorials. Hopefully you know how to crochet a little bit already, but I'm just making a slip knot, and I'm going to chain, I think I did chain 5. Sure. If you like doing 4, go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I went ahead and insert into the first to create a circle. And then I always hold the end of my yarn here. We're going to go ahead and incorporate it. So I'm going to chain 2. If you want to chain 3 to start your double crochet, go ahead. That is going to count as your first, or one of the double crochets, not really your first one, because what we're going to do is incorporate that into the center of one of the clusters. How you have 3 double crochet clusters. It's going to be in the middle of one just to make it look a little nicer, so no worries there. So right from there, I'm going to go ahead and go into my circle, into my loop. I'm going to do 1 double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 2. If you find chaining 1 works better for you, chaining 3 works better for you, go for it. And I'm going to do 3 double crochet into the circle there. So 1, 2, and I feel like this one you can pretty much crochet however you like. It's the same as the beginning of the other, you know, granny square that you would have typically followed. 1, 2, another 3 double crochet cluster. And if you see that you're, you know, running out of your color, you have too much, start making your double crochets larger, make them a little bit tighter, whatever it is you need to do, so that when you're done with these 12, you've kind of exhausted this first color, which is kind of like a teal color. 1, 2. We are going to do some slip stitching into one of the chain spaces, so that kind of helps you get rid of some of the color also, but you know, whatever it is. 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to make them kind of a lot bigger because I still have this much to get rid of. I'm pretty much still need to make one more double crochet. Okay, so we start off with a chain 3, double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2. We need one more double crochet to finish that first cluster that we began but have not finished. And see, now I'm already pulling in my color, and that is perfectly good because what you're going to do is slip stitch up here anyway. So at the top of your chain 2, this is my double crochet. This is where the double crochet, that's the post, but that's the hook area. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my chain 2. And there we go. So essentially we've closed that off, but you want to get into this chain 2 space. So I'm going to slip stitch into the next double crochet, which is right here. And when you do that, I want to show you what happens. You're repeating the top, but not really. So the top is back here now, and then this is the slip stitch you just made. Later on, we're going to catch both of those because I don't like only catching the front when I do like a double crochet later. We'll talk about it when we get there. And then why this doesn't bother me that this is already changing here is that we're going to do double crochets on top of this, and you're not going to see that anyway. So it's better actually to have that incorporated now than later, because that's how I ended up with this little green stitch coming across. Because if I had slip stitched and it was still that teal color, you're going to see it later. So we're slip stitch one more time, and now you're in the chain 2 space. And then now you're just going to do your pattern, and the pattern is going to be the same every time, and it just increases on its own because that's just what happens. So here I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to make 1 double crochet. I'm going to chain 2. Again, if you like chaining 2 or 3 for your double crochet, do that. Do the same every time. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to do 2 double crochet, 1, 2, in that same chain 2 space from before. And now we're going to double crochet in the top of each double crochet. Now here it's easy to see because it's basically this. This is your post, and this is where you're going to put that in, right? Here's 1, there's 2, and there's 3, and then you're back at here. Sometimes this gets covered up because of how thick this is, so just make sure you're always getting into the right spot for your double crochet. So double crochet on top of double crochet on top of the next one. So in this round there's 3 essentially, 1 more here. Now we're back at the chain 2 space, so we're going to 2 double crochet, chain 2. So once you've made one of these, and if you see that as you're getting to your color changes, you're like, oh, that was too hard or too tight or too loose, just make your adjustments. How you're crocheting. So I don't remember, I think on these 2 it was just fine, but it was just the last 3 rows where I had to kind of be a little tighter with my stitch, and just the slightest bit tighter so to make it work. So anyway, 2 double crochet, and then a double crochet on top of each one of these guys. So 1 here, 2 here, and 3 is here. And then when we get to the end, we're back at our corner. So 2 double crochet, it's getting knotted, 1, 2. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit because I can see how much thread I have left, or yarn, and it's not that much. So 1, 2, again, 2 double crochet in the corner, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then a double crochet on top of each one of these guys. Oh, I have a knot already for some reason. It happens. Okay, let's go this way. There we go. Okay. And the pattern is going to be the same in every single round, and it's super easy. So I don't know if I'm going to waste your time in doing each round, but at least we'll start it, right? So 2 double crochets, I'm back in my corner. Did I get all 3? Yes, 1, 2, 3. So 2, chain 2. Trying to use up this blue now so I can see I have plenty to do that. And then we're back here. So this is the beginning one where it has a little funkiness because that's actually a chain 2 in the middle. So do your double crochet on top of the first double crochet. Do your double crochet on top of your chain 2. It's a little bit different right now. It just looks a little bit different. Actually, it looks nicer, which is interesting. But basically in here, you're going to catch your oopsie, the top of that guy. And again, with crochet, here's another thing. Here's another tip. If you're not sure where it is, just place it and try to do it the same every time so it looks nice. So there's that one. And then this is the third one. But again, we slip stitched into that double crochet in the last round, and it doesn't look wonderful at times. So what I'm going to do is try to find the original post and just clear both of them. Okay? If I only put it into the slip stitch, which is right here, it's just going to look funky. So I try to look for the original place where I slip stitched into, pull that guy up, make a nice double crochet, and our color is already starting to change, which is perfect because again, if you don't want to have this little weird guy coming across here, then you want to kind of start getting rid of that color already. Okay, so top of my chain 2 is right here. I'm going to catch that there and just slip stitch into that. And do you see, I mean, it perfectly color changed on that one. So there we go. We're going to slip stitch on the top of the double crochet, and then we're going to get back into this corner because that's where we need to start, and slip stitch there. Okay, that was our second round. And I mean, she's looking pretty cute. Obviously we can square it up if you want, but there it is. And that looks already, again, with my tips from having learned when I did this one, where it changed, it looks much neater, right? This looks a little messy. That little, I might take an alcohol ink marker and color it blue, I don't know. Let's say you didn't get there, or let's say your color change does look like this still. When you get here, you can also go ahead and slip stitch, and you're gonna have that green guy, but then go ahead and start doing your chain 2 or chain 3 on top of it again, because what you can do is when you're here, I start chaining, right? But let's say you want to cover that up, so just pull a chain from there, who cares, and start chaining there, and then you'll cover that green one or the blue one or whatever color you have here that you don't want showing. It'll cover that loop. So anyway, just something to think about. All right, well, okay, from now on, it's the same thing. It's the same thing from round 2, to be honest. Round 2 was basically setting up your pattern. So I'm going to chain 2 because that's what I like. I'm going to do my first double crochet, which is basically essentially the second one, right? We're making our little cluster. Chain 2. 2 double crochet, and with this one I'm not going to be as flouncy or as generous in my stitches as I was with the other ones, because you might run out. Again, right here, don't go into this one. I know it's hard to see because it's dark color. Into this one, that's not where you're going. Your post is here, the loop for it is actually back here, so just clear out the yarn that might be in the way and then get going. So this time, essentially, if you think about it, you added 2 stitches on each side last time, so it should be 5 that we're going into. I think it's, oh no, we added how many, 2 and 2? Let me see. It might be 7, I forgot. 2, 4, 5, yeah, it's 7, sorry. Because you added 2 in each corner. Does that make sense from before? So when we started off, we had 3, right? 3 double crochets, and then we added 2 and 2, so now we have 7. So you're doing this guy, your cluster, you should have 7, and then going into the next one, we do our 2 double crochet. 1, 2, chain 2, and 1, 2 in that same corner, and then again, do not miss this guy, okay, where you actually should go in, right there. And let's work our 7 across, and then you're going to get to the other corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then the 7 across the other. Just keep going, okay? And I will be back when I get to this side. I want to show you, I have about this much left of that blue, and I still have 3 more double crochets to do. So, just kind of looking at it, I might tighten it up. Again, this is the very last bit, and there are some funky tops here, so I'm not gonna lie, because of the slip stitching and other things. But anyway, so we just did that one. Let's get into this guy. Oh, not there. I need to get into that space right there. And then this one, again, I'm looking for that top of the 2 double crochet just to make it look neater. And, ooh, this has a weird color change, to be honest. The other one didn't have the Guinness like that, but okay. One more, right at the top of this guy. And I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of this guy. So my color change happened a little bit prematurely, but it was mostly because of the variegation of the yarn. The other yarn didn't have that weirdness, so oh well. But if you want to tear back a couple of loops, you know, just a couple of these guys and make them a little tighter, then you can do that. I'm not too worried about it. You saw I left this, like I didn't try to go back and redo that. But if you want to make sure this is all blue, I would take it back maybe 4 or 5 stitches. Just make them a little bit tighter and you will regain that. I promise you, 100%. So now we're going to slip stitch again into the double crochet that's right next to us here and into the chain 2 space. And we're going to start again, same thing. But what's going to happen is this is going to get covered by this same color when we come around. That's why it doesn't matter if your color changes kind of here. So chain 2. 2 double crochet. It's going to be the same for this next round, the next round, and if you keep adding your own yarns, keep doing the same thing. Chain 2. 2 double crochet, again a little bit tighter because that's just what I recall at the end of the other when I was working on it. These had to be a little bit tighter than like the first 2 rounds to have enough yarn. Again, you can switch out your needle or your hook. The only thing is when you do that, every single stitch you do is going to be smaller, 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 and you're probably going to end up with a lot of this light blue or a lot of this guy going to the next round. So for me, it's better to make the adjustments with the way you're crocheting than the actual hook, but that's just me. You can try whatever you like. I'm sure it'll work out. Okay, so same thing. We're going on top of each one of these. Last round it was 7, and then we added 4, so you're going to have 11. So make sure after your corner that you have, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and then into the next corner. Same pattern. So double crochet on top of each double crochet, a little tighter, like I said, than before, and you should be set. So I'm just going to finish this one side just so you can see what I'm saying. There's our 11th one, and then 2 double crochet in here, chain 2. And if chain 2 doesn't work for you, let's say you run out of yarn, chain 1. Like all these little changes you can make to adjust for you really do make a difference at the end of the row, or the round. So yeah, for sure, if that works out better for you, chaining 1, chain 1. It's no big deal. Okay, and then I'm just going to go across again. Double crochet on top of every double crochet, and it lies flat. It looks good. I mean, I'm just like, why don't they include this pattern on their label? They should, because it works really well without having to have kind of wordy explanations, like in some of my other videos where I made like the flower or even the sunburst. You know, there's some fudging you're going to be doing in there, and it's hard to write that down. And I think that's why Red Heart, it just went with the one granny, and they're like, we're done. Right? But I'm going to continue here, and I'll see you guys at the end of the round. Okay guys, so I think I'm coming back around. We have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I need 2 more because it does get kind of harder to see what's what over here. I'm looking for the top of my chain 2, and look at that. I probably have a little extra blue that I don't want, but we'll fix that in a minute. I'm trying to see where, if that one's there. It's just a little hard to see. Sorry, I have my computer open. Right there. Oh no, I guess we're good. I just made that one taller so that we can slip stitch easily. So slip stitch on top of your chain 2 and then into your double crochet. So that's that one. The chain 2 is right here. Again, if chain 3 works better for you, chain 3, but do the same thing pretty much every time so it looks uniform. This one's really tight at the beginning for some reason. There we go. And I'm going to pull this guy through where we have our color change. Slip stitch into the double crochet, and then slip stitch into your space. And this is what it is looking like. There you go. Again, I don't know. I probably should have torn it back, but we're just going for it. If that kind of thing bothers you, tear it back and, you know, a few, and get yourself that extra little loop back in. Okay, so same thing. Chain 2. a double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in that same corner. Again, keeping my stitches a little bit tighter than I had done in the first couple rounds. And then we'll go across, and then we had 11 plus, now we have 11 plus 4, so you should have 15 double crochets across. So that's our first one, our second, third, fourth. I guess we'll do this together. I'm just going to keep going. I don't need to count out loud, but fifth, sixth, and I'll just keep going. And you know, I'll be back because it's going to take a second, and you know, obviously it's very repetitive, so I'll be right back when I get to the corner. Okay, and there's 15, and we're back at the corner, so 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and just keep doing that. So, oh my goodness, I'm getting a lot of emails. A lot too. Anyway, there you go. That one was from Anna Griffin for their anniversary on their AGTV. 30th anniversary is what it said. All right, and I'll just keep going. So same thing, and don't forget that first guy, right? So there you go, and I'll come back when I get to this end. Okay guys, so I'm back at the end, and I have this much white, which is perfect. I mean, I could probably loosen it up a little bit if I wanted to, but there we go. And I have 3 more to go. So I have 12, so here's 13, 14 again at the top of my like chain 2, trying to catch that with the slip stitch and everything. And then the last one, which is here in my little double crochet here. And actually, did I skip one? Actually, it's right here. Yeah, so this one's a little bit harder to tell because obviously we don't want to go in there. Let me catch this guy. I caught this guy in a funny way. Right in here, trying to get the best of that. Just a little bit buried there. Let me see. Nope. Oh, there. This guy does not want to cooperate with me. There we go. There we go. All right. And that is that. And so then we're just going to finish it off. So on the top of my chain 2, again, if you like to chain 3, do that. And I probably did that one a little too tight. That's what was my problem earlier too, with the last stitch there. A little tight. Okay, pull it through. And I have something to weave in if we, you know, whatever. Plenty there. When I first did the other one, I had like nothing. I was going into the blue color change, and I was like, oh no, I was going into this, you know, and that would be where I was ending. So I was like, oh no. So I needed to tighten it up, and I knew that, and that's what I did. So there you go. Again, if you're blocking things, if you are the type that does that, you can definitely get this blocked up. But there you go. There's that guy. Here's this guy. Let's see how I did. Are they similar? Are they the same? Are they very close? Looks pretty close to me. So there you go. I hope you like it. It was very easy to do with this one. Again, I try to do my color changes in a way that you weren't going to have like that little guy poking wherever actually it'd be here. He's not obvious here, right? And then this one, that little light green one here is also gone. This color changed, that variegation on the yarn was kind of funky. But again, you can take care of that. If I had gone back a few stitches and tightened it up, I would have got that blue loop out here somewhere, you know, instead, up towards the top. But that's okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and we'll try it out. Let me know. I know a lot of people have responded on the Sunburst one. People are really loving that one, and I'm super glad that people have tried it and that it worked for you guys. So again, I'll have linked basic supplies. You can find this Red Heart, Granny Square, like Joanne and Yarn Inspirations and Hirschner's, I don't know, a place like that. And I'll try to find a tutorial that's written up for this square so you would have it, and then just kind of make the adjustments. I'll try to find something very similar. All right, guys. I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.